Hey Leo, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
This is our assistant Jen.
Yes.
She's
Hello,
gonna take.
Jen. She came early, so we've had a couple of words.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me and just kind of give me some insight as a college student and a founder trying to grow their business. But I definitely love your content on TikTok and wanted to reach out.
Okay. Have we talked before?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Sorry, refresh my memory. What kind of business do you do?
So we're a mobile app that connects K through 12 parents and youth athletes with college and pro athletes in order to do one-on-one training sessions, mentor sessions, group sessions, and events.
Right. I remember you sent me your website. You sent me some information.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how are things going? How many users?
We're at about 1,600 users. So we launched in July of last year. So again, we haven't put a ton of money into marketing yet. Like it's just been kind of like brand ambassadors, but it seems like the growth rate, like we're having new signups every day, which is awesome. So definitely just want to be able to take that next step.
Well, 1,600 users is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and what's your revenue so far?
Our revenue is about 8,000 so far. So we have a subscription-based model. Originally my business model was that we were charging trainers $10 a month to be on the platform and parents were free. However, I realized that doesn't really make much sense. So we switched it just this month. So now we're charging parents $10 a month and trainers are free to join the platform.
Okay. Um, which is harder to acquire for you? I'm guessing parents or trainers.
Um, I would honestly say trainers, like just getting it in front of them, like knowing that they know that this platform is out there and free for them because our ratio is about 150 trainers to about 1,500 plus parents. So it seems like we have a good amount of parents, like whether it's their kids seeing it on social media and having them sign up. Um, but yeah, I would probably say trainers. Like I kind of want to my plan is to really partner with some of these universities and their athletic departments in order to get all of their athletes onboarded all at once.
Okay. And how are you reaching the universities?
I haven't started reaching out to them yet, but now that we have a good amount of parents on board, I was honestly planning on just cold emailing them and seeing if they'd be interested. I don't know if that's the best model, but I haven't really brainstormed other models in order to be able to reach them and have them see what we have to offer.
Okay. Um, I never like cold anything.
Hmm.
Um, and you have one opportunity to create a great first impression.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So again, the fees are $10 for the family members, the mom
Yes.
per month.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. And what services are being charged? What fees, what monthly fees are being charged by the trainers? They
They
range from what?
we allow them to set their own rate, but it ranges from $5 an hour to 100. So I'd probably say like 10. No one's really doing $5 an hour, but I'd probably say $10 to $100 an hour, depending on their stature of an athlete, like their accomplishments, accolades, school, all that stuff.
Okay, and is this online training or face-to-face type training?
So we offer both. Our main model is that we want the in-person connection because the reason I started the company is because I used to train kids personally on the side to make money. And my teammates kept asking me for kids to train. So once NIL came out, I decided to make the app. But yeah, we allow them to do in-person, group in-person, and then also like virtual. So we have a video chat feature on the app where that they can schedule a session to either go over film, Q&A, just life tips, stuff like that in order to get where they want to be one day as an athlete.
Okay. So, $10 an hour. So as long as it's a group, right? So it makes sense.
Right.
Okay. And how do you get paid? The percentage of the fees or that they charge?
So we get paid from obviously the subscription, and then we charge a 5% service fee for each session that's completed on the app. So say it's a $50 session, the parent will pay 52.50, the trainer will get the full 50 and we'll get $2.50.
Okay. And there's a payment link through your website, through your portal?
Yeah, so we allow like Apple Pay, Venmo, Zelle directly through the app. Similar, we try to make it as similar to Uber as possible, so like
Okay,
easy payment.
okay, all right. So tell me about your training. How were you training? What kinds of things were you training?
So I was a college lacrosse player at Lynn University in Boca, and so the reason I would get clients was word of mouth or just in-person interaction. So like, say I was at the field training, and another sixth grade student was there with their dad, like they would come up to me and ask if I'd be able to train their kids. So that was really what I was doing. So it'd be an hour session of going over drills, ground balls, passing, catching, stuff like that. Just simple stuff that's kind of drilling it into their head of what they need to be able to do in order to get to the next level of athletics.
Okay, okay. And you watched film of them practicing or doing drills and
Yeah,
okay,
they would send me videos, whether if it's in game, at home, and then I'd be able to go to the field. Okay, what do you want to work on today? I think we should work on this, blah, 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 blah.
it makes sense. Okay. And you've gotten your followers through word of mouth so far, is pretty much?
Yeah, like word of mouth. We do a lot of collaboration posts on Instagram, which has really helped us a lot. Whether it's with athletes, trainers, that has definitely been able to get us to grow to where we are now. But I feel like we can't only rely on that.
Okay. Um, how many followers do you have on Insta?
We're approaching about 3,000 right now. So we have about like 2,800, I think, I believe.
2,800. Okay. Um, and have you tested the platform? Any glitches? Are you ready to scale?
Yeah, I've tested a good amount. We have a little bit of glitches. Because originally when I made the company, I was about 18, 19. So I wasn't really familiar with how important it is to have great tech. So I feel like our original developers kind of set us back just a little bit in terms of development because I really feel like they were outsourcing the development instead of not doing it internally. And so, yeah, we do have a little bit of glitches, but I mean, for the past year, like we've been just working out every single kink, like talking with every customer, having them send us screen recordings and just really making sure that every glitch, bug, and error is getting fixed. So
Okay.
our developer right now, he's been doing a very great job with it.
Okay. How much would you say you've invested in this project?
I would say about 50,000 so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and like in development and stuff like that. So we're bootstrapped right now. My parents have been the ones helping me fund it because again, they do believe in it, and it seems like they like once I start making revenue, I definitely feel like they're gonna let me be on my own, which I like. But yeah, it's definitely been my parents helping me fund the project so far.
Okay. And you own 100% of the shares?
Yes.
Um, can you share your website? Show me what you have?
Yes. You want me to share my screen or just send you the
Yeah,
link?
yeah, please share the screen.
Okay, so this is our website. So this link obviously takes you to the links of where you can download the app. We have a short, like 1 minute intro video of what the app really does. Just like some of the articles we've been featured on and some of our partners, and then obviously a contact page um,
Okay.
about us. So like our story, how I founded it, mission, core values, why us. Obviously meet our founder and then meet our team. So we have a good amount of advisors right now. He's actually about to get a promotion because he's been like one of our most valuable team members so far. Um, but yeah, I mean, we have a good amount of advisors, just kind of shows our team and then how it works. So we have two apps right now, kind of like Uber Driver and Uber Client. So we have We Train Trainer and We Train Mentee. So this is the one for trainers, obviously, and this is the one for parents. And kind of like a simple steps that shows you like a create profile, approval, train. We use Checker for our background checks. And then we just kind of have a few screenshots right here. We Train Academy is we want to start hosting camps, like youth camps, because that's part of our philosophy as well. Like just bringing about 50, 100 kids together and being able to learn from some of the top athletes and trainers. So we have our first one in July. This July, it's a football camp and it's in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. So we're just going to start being able to post our flyers, register, all that stuff. And then our brand ambassadors. So we have Route God. He's a very well known football trainer that a lot of kids love. And then we have two athletes. So one's a dual athlete at Ole Miss, and one of them is a UFL receiver. And then Yosef is our kind of creative director because he does a lot of mic'd up content. Kids, it's mainly for lacrosse, but like mic'd up content, interviews, sideline stuff, just really interact in the community and being able to showcase social media that what these kids are like under the helmet. These are our founding athletes. So these are a bunch of my pretty close friends that once we first started in about 2022, that I was like, okay, like I'll sign you guys to a contract if you can just help me market it. So they've all been very great so far. He just got signed to the Ravens, which is awesome. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is really it's kind of we try to make it as simple as possible, but also showcase what we have to offer. Pipeline for Change is one of our sponsors right now. We're in conversation with a couple other sponsors as well to sponsor our camp. This is kind of like apply to be a sponsor, a vendor page. And then so We Health, this was kind of a decision I made a year ago that we wanted to not only have it be trainers on the platform, but physical therapists, nutritionists, and mental health specialists that we allow them to join for free. And then if any parents or athletes want to be able to work with one of these three specialists, that they have the opportunity to do so. And then our press and media. So this is like a couple of articles and stuff like that have been written about us, just that kind of shows our validation as a company and that people are really taking notice of us so far.
Okay.
And then our frequently asked questions, and that's really about it.
Okay. And are you ranking on Google? Are you getting a lot of leads from Google?
Yeah, it really seems like we are. So from GoDaddy, they've showed us that we've had over like 500,000 social views, which I really honestly wish that we had a web app, which we're having in the making right now. But if we had a web app, we would have been able to directly convert a lot of those into signups. But I mean, it would
Okay, hold on. Why aren't you using a drip campaign on your website?
a direct campaign. Oh, to sign up.
Drip campaign.
Oh, I'm not familiar with Drip Campaign.
Okay.
What
Um,
is that?
well, you got to give something away to get their contact information.
Uh-huh.
Figure something out.
Yeah.
How to prepare your kid to be a professional athlete or something, like
Mhm.
an ebook or something to give away.
Okay.
Um, um, you give that away in exchange for their contact information. Then you
Okay.
get into the drip campaign and start educating them to
Mhm.
eventually to become clients. You should be able to convert at least, 20 to
Yeah.
50% of those people.
Okay. Okay.
You are doing a lot of things well, but
Mhm.
you're not doing a lot of the basics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And we definitely like need to be able to, because again, that's a lot of opportunity that we may have missed out on just from not having something like that. So I definitely agree.
Yeah. So tell me about your mentors, your advisors.
Yeah, so a couple of them. So I was at Emerge Americas, which is in Miami. It's kind of like a tech event. So we had a booth there, and our first two advisors, they were at the event and they came up. They both played in college. They played college baseball and college hockey. And so we were just kind of just talking with them, and they're like, yeah, like, I'd like to be an advisor. And so I thought I was like, okay, I definitely am gonna need an advisory board eventually. So I just kind of interviewed them, see how they feel like they'd bring value, and we hired both of them. And so once we hired those two, a couple of other people started to kind of take notice and see if they wanted to get involved as well. So we have a couple of advisors that, I mean, honestly, they've been awesome so far because again, like they're not being paid yet. But Benito has been with us since the beginning before we launched. And so we're actually about to promote him because he's been very, very helpful for the team. Sean he's the one that played hockey in college. So once we start getting into the hockey scene, he's going to be able to help us in the Boston area. And so he actually brought Ryan, which is also, he was the captain of the Harvard hockey team as well. And he coaches like USA hockey. He just does a lot of coaching and just youth activation in the hockey scene. So he's kind of, that's a big industry as well. Like some of those parents are paying a lot of money for their kids to be able to play the sport. And so we definitely feel like that we could provide like really good events and stuff like that. And the thing with hockey, it's like there's ice time rental. So it's kind of a tough area that we have to kind of tackle. But we feel like those two are going to be able to help us either get discounts or even free ice, which would be huge. But for the field sports, like those are really the ones we want to focus on right now. Eli Turner, he's kind of like a second older brother to me. So I grew up with his younger brother on the same football team. And so he works for NFL UK and NFL Academy right now over in London. And he's obviously a former D1 athlete himself, but he's kind of helping us on the football scene as well. But yeah, we kind of just wanted to build an advisory board of former college athletes who are doing stuff in the world and definitely see a vision for retrain and just bring whatever skills they feel like would be best for the team.
Hmm. And who's the gentleman on top?
Sean, he's our legal counsel. So he's actually my mom owns a company as well. So he does legal counsel for her. So he does it for me as well. But he's worked over 25 years in whether it's federal government, entrepreneurship in general. He's just a very, very big asset for us in terms of legal work and making sure everything is set in stone.
Okay. And scroll back down again.
So yeah,
Okay.
so Sydney, she goes to school with me at University of Miami. She just helps run our social media. She's very, very awesome as well. Ava also goes to school with me, and so she's a very energetic, and just people-oriented person that we love to have on the team as well. So once we start having our events and stuff like that, she's going to be there giving out energy drinks, just really keeping the energy up. Um,
Okay.
Augustine Nelson, he was one of my professors at University of Miami, and he's done a lot of stuff with entrepreneurship. So there was another kid from Miami who made a betting platform for video games. So he was an advisor for them as well. So he just really loves our idea and just has been very helpful so far. Joseph,
Okay. So sorry, Augustine,
yeah,
what does he teach in university? What
economics.
economics? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And then Joseph is our creative director, so he just helps with our brand image and stuff like that. Like he's the one that does the mic'd up content with kids and stuff like that, and just being able to provide social media with a inside view of what kids are like in game and under the helmet.
Okay.
Then Justin is one of our photographer and videographers based out of the DMV. We've been pretty good friends for about 3 years now, so he's very good with the camera. So we just thought to bring him on as well.
Okay. All right. I have a question. Stop sharing for a second.
Yep.
So you have quite a few people on social media.
Mhm.
How many followers do you have altogether?
Um, I would say total about 3,000 between like LinkedIn, TikTok. We're not like we just really recently started TikTok. The thing with TikTok is like we have to have a lot of video content, so we're trying to load up on video content before we mass on TikTok. But I'm think I'm gonna hire someone who's like again because they're kind of like contractors or social media people. Like whenever I need them to do something, I'll pay them and they'll do something like that. But I kind of want to bring like
It
a
makes sense. It makes
full
sense.
time person on
Okay.
to run
Um,
well.
okay. So 3,000. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Um, 154,000 followers on my profile.
Hmm.
And this video has 8.9 million views.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so even though you have a lot of social media people on board, I'm not sure that you're using the right tools,
Yeah,
right?
do so as well.
So, and the other thing that I've noticed, a lot of your team are sports oriented,
Hmm.
which is product oriented or service oriented. The
Hmm.
service part of your business is 10% of the overall business blueprint.
Yeah.
Okay. Aside from the brand people and a couple of people handing out samples, which are kind of on the business side of the business,
Hmm.
but you are missing 90% of the business.
Hmm.
Okay. You are product focused, which is fine, but you don't grow a business focusing on the product or the service. You
Yeah.
grow a business to 10 million or 20 million or 100 million by focusing on the business blueprint, the branding and differentiation to create an unfair advantage,
Yeah.
right? You've got a huge team, at least the building of a great team, but I'm not seeing the results yet. And I think that because of that is implementation.
Hmm.
Okay. I think you're lacking implementation in a recipe like manner.
Okay.
Okay. You have a good idea, but I think implementation needs to be worked on.
Okay.
Okay. Um, And I strongly believe if you want to be a, a 50, $100 million company, you got to work on the business blueprint because that's where the business grows.
Yeah.
It's not on the product side. It's not on the service side. That's going to be very slow progress there, as you can see,
Mhm.
right? Um, okay. So you have about 50,000 invested. How much do you expect to keep investing before you start making money? When's your break even?
I mean, with the new business model we just introduced, like again, if we get 5,000 paying parents like a month, that's 50,000 a month. So like I feel like once we get to about like once we get to about 2,500 paying parents, I feel like we'll break even because again, that's 25,000 a month. So it's gonna take time to get there, but I feel like once we're like overlapping, like okay, we have now 2,500 parents paying, I feel like that's when we'll break even. So I say we could break even by next year by the growth rate that we have right now. We just have to make sure that the app is working as best as possible and that the parents are actually paying their monthly fee and obviously booking services as well.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I like what you've done so far. I mean,
And I appreciate
congratulations.
I really appreciate that.
I'm definitely impressed. Um, and I talked to, people much older than you are. They're not as sophisticated as you are in terms of a business. So
Yeah,
even though you're not profitable yet, but I see a lot of positive things.
I really appreciate that.
Um, how do you want me to help you?
I mean, just like, do you have any ideas of scaling, obviously, and then like you said, like the actual implementation? Because again, I feel like we do have a good amount of team members who have the skills, but we need to make sure that the actual implementation and we're focusing on the business model. And like again, I do realize what you're saying. I've definitely hired a lot of sport oriented people, but I feel like we need more than that in order to be able to grow.
Yeah. That's like buying a lot of horse carriages before you get the horse.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
only need one horse carriage, then
yeah,
buy the horse, not 20 horse carriages without any horses.
yeah.
Okay, so and you've launched already.
Mhm.
Okay, which means you're trying to fly an airplane and build it at the same time.
Yeah,
Okay, so if I was advising you, and I should have been advising you from when you were 13 years old, right?
yeah,
No, I'm being serious because we talk about if you're going to start a business within the next 10 years, you better start organic marketing today,
yeah.
right?
100%.
So, um, I would like to help you. Um, I mean, there's only so much we can accomplish in 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I sent you those links. We have a group mentoring session tomorrow night. Um, I would like you to be part of that because I think you can benefit by, networking and meeting with other business owners who are trying to accomplish the same thing you are,
Mhm.
right? And I would strongly suggest you sign up for the individual mentoring and you get the group automatically for free.
Mhm.
So um, do you have a bookkeeper and accountant setting up tax strategies, and is there a business blueprint in place?
Yeah, I mean, we have an accountant team that is helping us like with taxes and tax returns, but I don't think like essentially tax strategy in a sense, but just like the actual just manual bookkeeping and accounting firms, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not enough. Because you're going to get to a point where you're going to pay too much taxes and you're going to wish you had done it a year ago,
Yeah.
type thing. Once you get the bill, once you get the tax bill, it's too late for that
Mhm.
year. You can plan for future years, but not for that year. So,
Okay, yeah, that's good to know.
yeah, what are your thoughts? How would you like me to help you?
Um, I mean, I'm not really sure. Like, I just kind of wanted to pick your brain and just see what flaws do you see and how we could fix them, and then obviously like what you feel like is great and how we can keep continuing to do that. What
Yeah.
we
Well, what's good, I mean, you're putting it on a good team, as I mentioned, but what you're missing is the basics. You're missing the leverage tools. You're
yeah,
missing the 10 million followers,
yeah,
right? And if you don't have the 10 million followers, which should be easy enough for you to get because you have a very desirable product that parents want their kids to have,
yeah,
right?
100%.
Um, I mean, the Williams sisters, that type of mentality, and you can create that culture, but you got to create the need,
Mhm.
right? But this is something you do 2 or 3 years before you launch, and that's it. That's very last minute stuff,
Yeah.
right? And by the way, I started on TikTok 8.5 months ago. So
Mhm.
if I can get a video to get 9 million views, I'm sure we can get your videos to get 10 million views fairly easy because you have a much more desirable, broader product.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see.
So what I'm talking about is very, very doable, but you got to use leverage tools. You're doing things the hard way. You're pushing the boulder uphill instead of downhill,
Yeah.
right? You should be using your social media so it sucks that boulder downhill. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, you're trying to push it uphill, right?
Okay.
So social media is going to be your key. Um, and what's We Train? Is that your company name?
Yeah.
How much testing have you done on that name?
Um, I mean, it kind of like just made sense at the time. And it seems like people understand. Like I wanted to be short and
Yeah, but it's
obviously,
kind of blah. It's not very romantic. It's not
yeah.
very, very emotional,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of blah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
short.
Yeah.
What's your website? WeTrain.com was that
Yeah.
available? Okay,
Yes.
okay, you did something well there, but I'm thinking you could have done better.
Yeah.
We researched, we have 10,000 domain names that we search and store and test. And, before we launch any brand, we're testing with at least 10,000 future potential clients. Because it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what I like, it doesn't matter what you like. It
Yeah.
only matters what the people with the money like, right?
100%. Yeah.
So,
Should. So, I mean, do you feel like it's not too late to change it if I do feel like I come up with something better?
well, you can always have 2 or 3 brands. What we did for a roofing company, as an example, a
Mhm.
27-year-old roofing company was stuck. They could not find quality employees.
Mhm.
And, in being in the city that they were in, they pretty much hired everyone and they had already a negative reputation, right? So as soon as they, advertised for people, they already, oh, that company is worthless. They're going to treat me like garbage. So we
Mhm.
started 2 other brands, right? Which gave us an opportunity to talk about fast growth of the brand and so on. So it gave us an opportunity to go back to the pool. And with a new brand, we were able to bring people from other cities to move
Mhm.
their families from other cities. That's how we were able to triple their workforce when they were struggling to even get employees.
Yeah.
So now they have a waiting list of employees. That's the power of branding differentiation to create an unfair advantage. And I do mean an unfair advantage where your competitor is saying, how the hell are they doing this? We
Mhm.
can't do this. How are they doing this? Okay. That's what you need. And
Okay.
I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a team that could build that, but I'm not seeing the idea, the unfair advantage, the branding and differentiation. I'm not seeing it. And that's the difference between pushing the boulder uphill or downhill. Okay.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I have answers for you right now because we're just talking. But over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm positive, or 3 4 months, I'm positive we can come up with a second or third brand to compete with the original brand. And whatever has the lead, that's what you go with,
Yeah.
right?
100%. I
You got to
definitely.
do the testing. There's no shortcuts in business. And by the
Yeah.
way, there's a 96% failure rate,
Mhm.
98% in tech businesses. Technically, you are a tech business, or you focus a lot with tech. Um, so there's a 96% failure rate. We have a 1% failure rate.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Why don't you give it some thought and let me know how you
Sure.
want to proceed this? But either way, join tomorrow night. Join on the individual mentoring. If you don't like it after the first, second, third meeting, and we meet weekly, cancel, and you paid $500. At least you got your company going in the right direction. How about that?
I definitely agree.
Okay. All right. I need to jump on another call. If you
Sure.
have any other questions, you have my calendar link.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leo. I really appreciate it.
All right. Nice meeting you both. Take care.
You too. All right. See
Bye.
ya.